la la la. La 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 la. Good. Okay. So, beyond that, I'm just here. I am. Charlotte refers to that mage Caleb Jade, someone that sacrificed her life to save him when he was starting out in the occult. And this is a very heart-wrenching story. You can listen to it on Aquarius Rising Africa, run by Chantel. Caleb Jade's testimony is Memoirs of an Invisible Soldier, or Memoirs of an Invisible Warrior. To catch his story, you'll learn about Charlotte at the beginning. Nope, that's not good. I don't like Grace's story. Grace is another person that Jesse Sabatar witnessed being and that's part of her testimony. Grace is close to Jesse's heart, and Charlotte is close to Caleb Jade's heart. Alana's talking about controlled opposition people. Here Dom is talking about that same thing about entities changing their names. And Alana is just commenting over him, saying that we need to be aware of everyone. Everyone can be used by good or evil. That's just Daniel versus Babylon being Daniel versus Babylon. I'm plugged, sir. I'm ready. I like this guy, this Daniel guy. He is very good in just like breaking down fallacies in science-only worldviews. Science only. A lot of science-only people are not scientific. They throw up some objective evidences that don't fit their worldview. They put it on a shelf. No. You take it off the shelf and you work with it now. You drag it into now. Don't just because it disproves this major critical thing in your theory. You don't shelf it. You take it now. That's how I function. It hurts my brain, but I take everything there is and I put it in front of me. I don't shy away from it. And luckily we have the Bible to use as a gauge, as a reference that helps us to stay on track. Why that book has been... They've tried to kill that book for millennia now, and that book still survives, and that book is able to turn the most hardened criminals and hardened occultists back into plain, simple, traditional, okay, peaceful life under Christ. And I've witnessed that book's transformation in my life personally. Very interesting here. So there's this movie, Escape from New York and Escape from LA, and that Snake Plissken character God used in a vision once to illustrate the Antichrist to me. I call him Eye Patch, and I'm just always letting Jesse know, like, hey, this character Snake Plissken was used to by God to get my attention. And I'm like, what do you can? And Jessie just likes my tweets. She knows something. She's not letting me know everything because it's not mine to know. So interesting in this movie. There's all kinds of symbolism, and I mean, this is the 1980s, and you have the reverse of Moloch in the movie. You have all manner of strange symbolisms going on and about that kind of looks like the Orion constellation. The Orion constellation means the coming prince, or the coming, it means the hunter, Nimrod the great hunter in some occult beliefs, but in Christianity it refers to the coming prince. Coming prince is Christ, but Nimrod is also the Antichrist. So the constellation Orion seems, for me personally so far, to embody a clash of two titans, a clash of Leviathan and Godzilla, a clash of God and Shemiyaza, a clash of the dragon and the Archangel Michael, God's forces, good versus evil. And interesting how that movie was brought to my attention in a vision. And I've noticed it. God, I've noticed it. See, what the hell is that? Devil's Help. It's like strange programming in this movie, and I leave the movie programming stuff to I leave it to Face Like the Sun, Gon's Shimura. I'm not focusing on that. I try to stay with my visions and what they teach me or show me. So go away, Twitch. So far I've recorded 6 minutes, so I'm gonna put it here for 55 minutes until my alarm goes off. My wife is behind me. I just cuddled a little bit and hugged her. She had a bad day. But we're gonna enjoy our night together and enjoy watermelon, relaxing, finishing up work, maybe a movie later, we'll see. Baba's relaxing behind me. Okay, so let's go back. Very interesting thing. I'm playing with a name here. What could the name mean? What could God be trying to tell me? Go watch the scene in Escape from LA. Very interesting how Snake Plissken he destroys the infrastructure of the world by some remote control and typing in 666, and the people in the movie call it the world code, and activates an EMP. And apparently in this movie it happens in the year 2025, so there's some comms, some programming, some symbolism in this movie pointing to the year 2025 something. I got wind of it through a vision, through a dream, shared it with Jesse Sebatar, and we'll see what happens. Here is the vision in question. I don't think Kurt Russell is the Antichrist. I think that character in the movie is some kind of symbolic reference that I'm yet to fully understand. Okay, so here is the vision in question. I'm saying I don't speak for Jessie, but she dovetails with what I'm experiencing. This is the FAFO, the FAFO vision. FAFO stands for Fraternizing Against Furious Ostriches, of course, obviously. This is like one of those very hectic visions that just knocked the wind out of me. And in this vision, the character was used to illustrate the globalist system leader that managed these entities. I call it's like the communist disabled giver, the brutalizer, the indulger. I think indulger, brutalizer might be the same entity. It might be Astaroth. And there's also an anti-gun undead lawman, the holy biker gang, the altered humans, the clay golems. All of these are characters, symbols that should be understood symbolically. And this character believed he was doing God's work, but actually he's the leader of the globalist system. He's the current pharaoh of the world, whoever he is. Some person said, oh, it's Elon Musk. Other person said, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. I don't know who he is. It's not been revealed to me. I passed it on. Not everything is my problem. My wife says that whatever you cannot do anything about, just let it go. And I agree with her. She's keeping me strong. She's my counselor with regards to everyday life. I'm so glad that I married her. She keeps me straight, focused, and strong, and she's helping me a lot with my pain, the things happening to my body. Let's see, what else can I say here? So you have to understand all of these entities corrupted this family into that, and that. So the mom became that. The girl became that. The boy became that. The entities, they morphed into the entities that were changing them like this. The holy biker gang, I believe to be the light side of the system, the light side of the Illuminati that just keeps the wheels greased, and they act Christian, but actually they're just a gang. And first, the globalist system released altered humans to re-control the world. Right now the world is waking up, and we see mass violence. I believe some of these people committing mass violence are programmed to do so and released into the wild. This didn't work, so the system released bluish clay golems, which I believe to be a symbol for the hybridization program that's been happening. Listen to L.A. Marzuli's account of these things. He goes into detail. The moment this was released, the sixth seal happened. That was God's answer to put a stop to it and to destroy the world's infrastructure, not on Satan's terms, but to destroy the world's infrastructure on God's terms for the rest of Revelation to play out and to severely hamstring and, how can I say, disable these entities, these clay golems, to disable the earth in such a way that it's not easily for them to brutalize, abuse, and enslave humanity. It's a loving act. This is a loving act because if these things were left up to their devices, it would repeat the days of Noah. What were the days of Noah like? The days of Noah, angels physically walked the earth as gods, and their children with women became half-breeds. These half-breeds were demigods and kings over the earth. And the earth was filled with human exploitation, violence, and hybridization. And God said, this will never again happen. He flooded the earth, gave us the rainbow as a sure sign that he will never let this happen again. The enemy is not listening. He's still devising his plan, creating his new half-breeds. In the past, it was giants. For some reason, they cannot make giants anymore. Or when they make giants, they come out all screwy, according to Caleb Jade and Jesse Sabatar's testimony. So they've mixed human, animal, angel DNA with technology to create a new breed of hybrid that they hope will take over the planet for them. God says no. Here I tell you, clay is not. Clay is abundant, it's naturally occurring, but it is a mingle. It's a mingling of many different things together. And that's where you get all of these Star Trek boys from. All these things coming into contact with abductees are merely mixtures. Ladies and gentlemen, they are not from Zeta Reticuli. And God has warned us. As far as I'm able to relay the messages, God has warned us. Sixth seal. Okay, very carefully. Closing and going back. That is the Fafo vision. Here I go into detail about realizing that a mixture of all of this equals clay golems. Go back. And the interesting thing about these clay golems, they were bluish, greenish, grayish, brownish, and that is the color of swamp clay. Now if you take swamp clay and you combine it with draining the swamp, cleaning out world governance, cleaning out the bureaucratic system of money siphoning and resource stealing and only enriching the top 1%, draining the swamp golems, the swamp golems being released to help keep the swamp going. These things serve the swamp. The clay golems were bluish greenish. That's the color of swamp clay. I believe in a certain places, not all swamps, but certain swampy places. I've done a little research. If you dig deep enough, it's because of the way the iron oxidized in that high moisture circumstances. If you dig deep, you'll see that clay in swamps are this color, or on riverbeds, you'll see that color of clay. And it's because of the iron. The iron does that. The degradation of the iron, bringing you back to the image of Daniel, the vision of Daniel with the vision of the stages of human development, how the feet of iron mingled with clay. And iron mingled with clay, that happens in swamps. And it's a bluish, greenish color, and how all of this comes together. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making this up. This is the way that things dovetail. Okay, let's go. Ooh, don't misclick. Okay, that's post, so that is a safe one to click. You want to go see what this lady is about and what she talks about? I warn you, if you go to Jesse Sabatar, you're going to hear some stuff that you didn't want to hear. Back. This is still a post. Here you can see Eye Patch was driving a muscle car. And he was in control of magic or technology that helped him to phase through traffic. He didn't have to go through traffic like the rest of us have to go through traffic every day. He's been cheating his whole life, but he's under the impression he's doing God's work. God says that he has something against this guy. This guy has been dodging responsibility, dodging the full brunt of human existence. He's been living as a god, and he has been cheating. He's been cheating his DNA, something like that, you know. Just because he's doing a good thing here and there doesn't make him safe from God's verdicts. Good deeds don't save you. Total fealty, submission, surrender to Christ, to God through Christ. That is the thing that brings you back into the family. But being a flashy superhero, doing a good thing here and there, is not going to buy you into the kingdom. Your possessions, your actions, your status, your money, the person that whatever family you're married into, your bloodline, your inheritance, nothing of that matters. The only thing that gets God's recognition is the way through Christ. So this is just Misty, just playing around with me here, trying to figure out the symbolism. I'm not going to read all of it, but it's here for you to see if you want. Again, I'm not saying Kurt Russell is a bad guy. I like his movies. Snake Plissken movie was very interesting to watch. Funny. I'm just saying this movie was dropped on my lap along with some... The symbol was dropped on my lap with a vision. I hope they ate only animal meat, if you know what she means. Going back to Jesse Sabatar talking to Dan Duvall, there's much you don't know. Just me and the gaming anime guys playing around with symbolism too. Space Shark. Here I reiterate how God is coming back with black and gold, the color of a lion, the color of gold being a color of divinity, heavenly, royalty, and black being the color of finality, death, end. That he's coming back like that. That's a good idea. He's coming back as total butt whooping anime style. And he's not going to hold back. The more slicey he is, the harder he slices through his enemies, the happier he is. This is not the season to be resisting him. This is the season to get to know him. He's given us what? The earth is at least 7,000, 8,000 years old. That's God's grace, has lasted at least that long. Not only that, he came as himself, took the sacrifice of sins to buy us another 2025 years. According to the people that I follow, I think 2025 is going to be an important year, pivotal year for something terrible to happen, for the start of tribulation. Maybe if we're lucky, the rapture might be 2025. I'm just saying this is a season to not ignore God. This is a season to pay attention. Interesting that the colors of black and gold is also the colors that an eclipse makes. Very interesting. People seeing strange artifacts. Maybe it's just camera stuff screwing around. People say there's multiple suns. People say there's multiple moons. I don't know. I'm not the science guy. I was shown in one vision that God showed me that on the day of the sixth seal, there will be 2 red moons in the sky, which will become, there will be 2 moons in the sky, which will merge and become a great red moon. and then the sixth seal, what will happen? I don't know what that means. That's in another vision I had. I think you can see that vision on 6 more warnings or 6 extra warnings video on channel Exodus. So I'm jumping around because this is just me journaling and referring back to past journaling. Sorry if you're confused, but this is me just leaving a track record. If I'm not crazy and if I turn out to be useful, there's a lot for people to study and just fall back on. Here I am talking about that sonic stuff again with people. They're talking about hidden weapon, hidden technology. It's just me sharing a meme. This is the first ever video that I made. No, not the first ever video. It's going to be the second video. It shows you how many people are having the same visions as me. So I don't think it's something you should ignore. There are thousands of people seeing what I believe to be the sixth seal, number 6, sixth seal, which will also be Rapture Day. Speaking of, I just found out about this guy, Dr. Willie Marais. Dr. Willie Marais said the same exact thing as me. He saw that oceans will rise, tsunamis will take out coastal regions, the whole Cape Town coastal region will be wiped out, and Table Mountain will stick out like an island. I literally saw that in one of my visions. I saw that. I saw Table Mountain in the distance as an island, waves splashing against it. And the eschatological scriptures say, and there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. It's part of eschatology that the sea will go absolutely bat poop. So here, Willie Marais' testimony, he's talking about these visions he's received. He's a preacher, a reverend, and he's been seeing exactly the same things years before I said it. I didn't know about this guy because I think he's part of the NG Kerk, the Dutch Reformed Church of South Africa. That church system got a bad rep because they supported apartheid. So much of the NG Church you don't hear in mainstream South African media. You don't hear about them on the news because they've been poo-pooed. But it's just a normal church. And many of the churches split away from the NG Church, NG Church, to form like their own denominations. But I think this guy is from the NG Kerk, and if you listen to him, he sounds like just like a straightforward, fundamental evangelical Christian. He's still in South Africa. Many of the racists left South Africa. So a lot of the people in South Africa, white people, they're not racist. They're living there because they want to live there. They love the country. They live with black people, brown people. There are racists in both camps, but the majority of people in South Africa, if we see racism on the street, both white and black will stand up from their meal, go to said racist and beat him up. We're tired of it. We're tired of being painted like that. Brown, black, white, most of us hate racism. There are pockets and regions and some cities where you have a lot of black people that are racist, or you have some communities of white people that are openly racist. But those places are walled off and avoided, and they're not sharing in. They're not really supported by the infrastructure of the country. They'll be very selfish, very violent. Generally, people avoid places like that, and they go empty. There's no choice, man. You have to go back. You have to go back to the original view of South Africa when it changed. Everybody's together there, and the world's becoming hell. We need need to stand together, especially Christians. Christian, black and white, stop that. Hold hands. I'm very proud of Muslims in South Africa, Cape Town. They make the best fish and chips, and they're not like extreme jihadi, violent like other Muslims, but there have been cells that sprung up now there, and it looks like they are radicalizing the young people to become, you know, the way they shouldn't be. And that's just sad. I think we all need to aim for the better standard. I'm gonna bite some watermelon. Ow. Back to blabbering. In this stream, in this video, I make a compilation of everything that I know about the tsunami dreams. I've had about 65 tsunami dreams. I asked God, why do I keep seeing tsunamis taking out coastlines and earthquakes? And then he showed me the moon exploding, and then I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So I compiled all of that, all my findings, all my thoughts into that video, if anyone's interested. This guy says I'm crazy. I need to seek help. I'm telling him I am the help. I don't know how else to study, validate, and support that something, the warning that something is coming. It's a warning also seen by many other normal people, Dr. Perry Stone, Dr. Thomas Horn, Dr. Willy Marais. There's a lot of famous people and a lot of normal people. We're all seeing the same thing. And we are tripping. And we're doing what we're doing, not for us. We're doing it for you, for the tribulation timeline. Very interesting how the eclipse went. It's a black gold, but in this case it was also purple. If you know my red, black, blue vision, how red, blue, purple, black, and gold, these colors God used to show me the balance in your life of how to be intimate with him, and I'm not going to expand on that. It's very interesting that there were these purple flashes with eclipse. Okay, so this guy is saying that you can trust any, he's making a distinction. He's saying Catholic priests, blah blah blah. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to tell him that not all church systems are serving God, and not all Christians, even in good church systems, are serving God. There are organizations that are up to strange things, strange doings, and they have a history of strange doings and strange symbolisms, doing things that they're not supposed to do. And my question is, why are they doing them? And I let this guy know, remember, you're fully aware of this. So I don't know why you say this, because you know more than you let on, and you happily, easily avoid the occult framework that you studied to be in your position. So I don't understand. What the heck? This is bad. You don't. So this guy is working for the Satanic Temple, and this guy is supposedly a Christian, and he's like calling this guy a cockroach that should be stamped. You don't talk to a person, any human being, like that. No human being, no matter how far gone, how far away, is a cockroach. Every human being is precious, holy, and loved in God's sight, and is allowed to approach him through Christ's sacrifice until there's time. I tell Lucian here, even though I argue with him, I tell him, you are not a cockroach, Lucian. Christians that speak like that to black sheep are. He's just a black sheep, but he's still a sheep. Carmen Smith-Studer, another podcaster, I believe. She interviews a couple of faith heroes. Just Starlink, how the eclipse looked like. I was feeling something in the air for a couple of days. Ecstatic electricity in the air. Just a good point made by this lady. Don't want to click on her. If I click on her posts, there is questionable language. Aliens. Cool picture. This lady did stuff she wasn't supposed to. This clever gentleman that has never read the Bible commenting how much he knows about Christianity when someone put him right. You need to, if you want to comment on something, make sure you understand the entirety of the context. Don't be an idiot. I'm just talking about Dr. Valimare here again. Here is, tell me what this sounds like. The whole moon turned to blood. Blood can mean death, dying, wounding, because how else do you bleed? Damage. If you damage something organic, if you damage something, there is a tendency to think about blood, bleeding, damage. If you puncture a living being, there's blood. And according to Dan Duval and some other people, there are elementals. Elementals are a thing. They are in the second heaven, but some elementals are in our dimension. You can actually find elementals. Where, how, when? It's hard to tell. I'm talking about wind elementals, earth elementals, fire elementals. These things are real. To what magnitude, I don't know. The people that I've studied, maybe they're lying, maybe they're not lying. According to Caleb Jade, most of these elementals are below ground because the world was wiped out in a global cataclysm, a flood, and many things to survive escaped into the deeper caverns of the earth. This was common knowledge that there were inner earth caverns back in the day before Noah's flood. It was common knowledge. Everybody knew there was a system within the earth. There were vast caverns, I mean Grand Canyon scale places within the earth, vast oceans within the earth. And the super global guys, they know it, they hide it. And according to Caleb Jade, many of these elementals are down there. And many of these elementals are being held against their will, being used for nefarious purposes, are corrupted through torture and what. So it's just the whole moon turned to blood and the stars of the sky fell to earth like unripe figs dropping from a tree shaken by a great wind. The sky receded like a scroll being rolled up. So I'm shortening it here a bit, but I believe this is what God's been showing me over and over. I see the moon getting whacked by something. I'm still not sure if it's a high-speed interstellar object, if it's a deliberate terrorist weapon shot at the moon, if it's an entity that's throwing a fit and plowing through the moon, if it's just the moon itself exploding. Why talk about elementals? Dan Duval and other people say that the moon itself is an elemental. So if you take an elemental, it's a living thing. What happens if you damage a living thing? It bleeds. When you kill something or wound something, it bleeds. So I think that is symbolic language to say the moon will die. There's another vision that I saw where God showed me the moon is dying, and it seems like he was telling me the moon has been corrupt. Something is happening on the moon. Something is happening to the moon, and the moon is on its last breaths. Something is poisoning the moon, and it's as part of this love act God is allowing for, or will put the moon out of its misery. The moon has been used for something. David Icke talks about the moon. Many people talk about the moon. I don't know what's up there. I don't know what it is exactly, but I just see for some reason it gets whacked and whacked hard. And my heart goes out to Luna. The sun is an elemental. The earth is an elemental. The moon is an elemental. Stars are elementals. Apparently, I'm spitballing here. And God sometimes talks about these luminaries in the sky as individual entities. He personifies them. Salamanders, good old salamanders, my favorite Space Marine chapter. Something about free speech. See, it's like there's two suns or something, but this just might be camera stuff. Me just having fun with some Alana. she taught me about there in the Amish circles. There are actually Amish occultists. There is a form of Amish witchcraft. What the hell that looks like, I don't want to know, man. Turkey, arcane turkey bombs. Mayru. These weird little rad bros. I don't know what they are, but their theology is on key. For now. Daniel versus Babylon, I have this little thingy. And then there's Milady. Weird little rad bros. I don't understand the meme, but well, there they are. They seem to be speaking for Christ. I don't know what kind of organization or influence platform they are. Rad bro. Rad bros. I don't know what a rad bro is, but that's what a rad bro. Their profile icons all look the same. The little eye patch thingy. Maybe it's eye patch. Maybe it's the Antichrist and his little drones. I don't know. Please forgive me. I don't know what the heck you are. I should study up on that meme. What the hell is a rad bro? David Icke standing at some haunted cave somewhere shouting into the sky, I stand against you, I blah blah blah. I call him a son of Skiva. He's relying on his own power, and he's literally bringing a wooden club to a universal exchange with Elohim, demons, angels. Like a wooden club. What are you going to do with your human body and your little shouty voice? It's a piss take. Don't bring a wooden club like a piss take to a universal exchange. Exorcism is a bit more than that. Sons of Skiva, go read about the Sons of Skiva in scripture, and you'll know what I mean. Seems to be a decline in insects. Apparently this has been debunked, blah blah blah. There's reasons for this. That looks cool again with the black, purple, gold, blue, red. Here just reiterates my point. Anyone can be saved. Okay, here is a vision. He's new to me, unexpected, but it was expected. Who's this? Oh, Dr. Vali Mare. I had a vision a long time ago that was in a journal that I lost, that I helped an old man to water a dry patch on the garden of the world. I thought this old man was God. I'm helping him water a dry patch that needs to be watered before the end times. Or maybe Dr. Vali Mare passed, and somehow his responsibility passed on to me, and I did what I could, as best I could. I'm just talking about this vision that I had about this old man that I helped watering an unwatered garden. Here you see me talking about it. There's Valimare's pastime. I started my work on YouTube the year after he died, 2015. So very interesting. He might be the old man that was referred to in the vision. This is the very first video that I make. Very loaded, very low quality, but it helps as a reference. It's just some visuals. See the water coming in and rising. Eventually Cape Town is an island in the sea, and it looks like the city of Cape Town never existed. That's how high the water will get. This reiterates my emotional mental strain, breakdown, pain, suffering, illnesses because of stress, nervousness because of these things happening. The Bible says men's hearts will fail them for seeing what's coming on the earth, and I believe I'm experiencing that and trying to document this, what I'm going through. I cry soft. Often I'm sad. Times I cry because I feel like I don't do enough. But then God always picks me up again. I almost missed my spot there. I was super close. Here I'm just talking about that. Full of Eyes, this guy on YouTube, Full of Eyes Films, and on Twitter, his art is amazing. Chuckzilla, God Naris, me just playing around. Vision that I had, I said, God, why do you let demons and weird dimensional stuff happen to me? A only for it to mean nothing. I don't go deeper into that stuff. I don't astral project. I don't do occult stuff, but it still spills over sometimes and hits me, and I'm like, why don't you keep it away from me completely? Just give me the visions. And God told me that this unicorn is you, and he's only keeping me knee depth in spiritual, dimensional, multiversal things, just enough for me to experience and know that it's real, just for me to know and feel certain things, what it feels like. Because some people talk about the occult, the spiritual world, and I know whether they're lying or not by the way they use their words. I know how to test them. I know how to ask them, oh, so when that happened, what did it feel like? If they talk crap, then I know they're lying. So I've experienced out-of-body experiences. I've experienced sleep paralysis, this and that, to a certain extent, to know that it is real and how it feels. For some reason, oh, there my music continues. So this is what this vision meant, and only people watching this video will know what this vision meant. And the unicorn rainbow, that means I'm trying to operate in all the gifts of the spirit, and there are these things chasing me, but it's like for some reason I'm deep enough in the darkness of the second heaven to still be able to run. If I was any deeper up to my middle, that unicorn would not be able to run, if you understand. Just deep enough to know that it's real and to know certain nuances, but not so deep that I'm not able to move forward and get captured, if that makes sense. Okay. The effects of Jesse Savitar's testimony screwed me up for a year and a half. It was hard for me to recover, but I fortunately did. Here is a vision I had that I think is intended to support her. Here's the visuals of the vision. Here's the details of the vision. And this is a summary of Jesse Savitar and the things that she teaches or discloses. Not supporting her is a risk because she is disclosing many things and she's sacrificed much. But I'm not going to take everything she says as Bible truth, because you never know what a person's price is. You never know who can be turned. Maybe she's a bad guy right now and God is just wanting me to interact with her for some reason. I don't know, but I only trust in God, the Bible. Let's say the Bible primarily, because it's an ultimate foundational standard, and then God, or whatever I can gather from what God is showing me, talking to me, things that I cannot deny, and then myself, because I trust my own. You need to be objective, and after all those things, I will trust someone else. I don't have a guru that I follow. I don't have a certain doctrinal theology set that I follow. I don't have a single worldview that I follow. I try to be as useful as possible and do it transparently. She keeps warning people that there are good and bad players on both sides, and you need to be very careful who you trust. I think all these bad Hollywood players are copying what we discover in our research, and they're using it in their music videos and movies as a mocking way to not be creative and troll God. I don't know, ritualistic purposes. Dom says that if the rapture were to happen, he'd like to stay behind and fight, blah blah blah. You don't want to be here, because I was showed this is a symbolic expression of the mental state people will be in that survive that event, that were not raptured. A whole generation will be twisted, full of mental problems, physically maimed, struggling, wanting to die, and a whole generation will need to be nursed by their kids or the next generation. Most of them will be constantly trying to kill themselves, constantly in depression, I saw people absolutely twisted mentally by surviving that event. And you can see what that event entails here. Sixth Seal, Midnight Cry. I tried to sketch out that fateful day. Fifth Seal, Hidden Souls. I believe here I give the reason why God is so angry. I'm warning you, if you go watch this, watch it with a clear head and make sure you're in a good place, not in a bad place. And make sure you watch it like on a Friday so that you have Saturday and Sunday to recover. If you have a weekend, if you're lucky enough to have a weekend. Blue. Blue means grace, love, relationship with God. That's what the color blue means to me. Color blue also means mental, psychic, dreams, the unconscious, the consciousness. So whenever I use blue, I'm trying to capture the essence of using your entire being to live with God. That includes what your mind is capable of and what your spirit is capable of. Some people love God with their whole hearts, their whole bodies. That's nice, but that's a Martha. Martha and Mary, that's like only using your flesh to serve God. You're supposed to use your entire body, your entire soul, and your entire mind. And I give away that you can utilize all these faculties to spend better quality time with God. This lady is very funny. I follow her just because I think she's a good role model, a better role model than other women and girls out there on OnlyFans and stuff. I think she's a good model to follow for girls to aspire to, rather than the much of the junk we have out there with regards to the influencers popping up these days. I'm just joking, playing around. Here I am. What's this? Oh, it's just a guy cleverly using the principles of mathematics to scare you. Yeah, Daniel. Always Daniel. Daniel's a clever guy. Follow him. Let the fruits grow. By their fruits you shall know them. What's my favorite games? Silent Hill, Generation Zero, Skyrim, Thief series, Warframe, Half-Life, Warhammer 40k. I'm not big into the old Warhammer, old world fantasy thing. I don't know much. I know more about the 40k Dawn of War lore. And of course Elden Ring was divine. Here Gonzo Shimura, he's very good in decoding occult stuff. He's investigating and disclosing occult stuff, but he doesn't have a history in the occult. Whereas Jessie Sebatar is investigating, disclosing occult stuff, but she used to be a very high occultist and turned on them. And following Gonz is a very good way to learn some things. Here's some other guy, they're talking about the symbolism, they're trying to figure out what the enemy is up to. I know this symbol to be a symbol for sex magic, I believe. It's a type of magic that utilizes ritual abuse to generate magical capacity, if I can summarize it, but I might be wrong. Someone can give me a better... I'm gonna stick to my dreams. I'm not good with all the occult stuff. I don't have a history in the occult. Misty is also weighing in. I'm trying to just guess. Am I on track? Am I tracking? Do I understand? She has a good point that Nala girl needs to put in the work. Faith and works, not just faith. You need to prove your faith with works. Combine Martha and Mary to become a Lazarus, a friend of God. That's part of the theology in my visions. Space Shark. Just me playing with Space Shark. Here I am just telling her that, or this person, she accepts everything Lucifer offers, where I'm like letting her know you're not aware of everything. Here I'm talking about this that I already mentioned in another vision. I say that this lady, I believe, is Jessie Sebatar, 2005-2012. I lost my original journal, but there are some places that I recorded journaling her, this character, a lady in white, lady, glowing girl, shining lady, shining face lady, sunlight lady. white rose, sun rose, many different names I gave her in my journals. I didn't know who the hell this was. I thought it was symbolizing the church in general as a bride of Christ. I'll check how much time I have left. Oh, about 11 minutes. I thought it was a general symbol for the church when one day she did arrive. A lady called Sunshine that's owning demons. Maybe the person in my vision is not her, maybe it's somewhere else, but so far she's taking the cake. And according to the Essene prophetic calendar, we are in the season that I don't think anyone else will come close to doing what she's doing. But hey, she might be bad, she might be good, I don't know. Okay, here I'm just talking about Jesse and referring back to this boat symbol being a wake-up call that the rapture is close by. That currently God is giving me my ministry back. It's been a long time where my ministry with God in the church, I tried ministering in churches, but it's just like it's so dead. There's no spiritual life in churches. Most churches, it drained me. So I opted to become like a counselor. I was trying to become a Christian therapist, Christian psychologist, but my family was destroyed so severely financially that I was never able to fulfill that dream. I had to go to other countries to make money. I had to work for my mom's business for a long time for free, just to help keep my family afloat. Many of the people in my family became depressed. People lost their lives. People lost homes. And sometimes I blame myself. I don't know if I'm causing this with my online ministry, causing this attention from Satan on my family. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just I've never been able to fully do what I wanted to do, and I've just been doing what I'm able to do, and I would not be alive if it wasn't for my wife. Thanks to my wife, I'm able to still be here. She saved my life many times as I became very sick. This is kind of like a people need to thank God for Jessie, because through her pain, through the tears that she's shedding for her own family and the globalist system, make no mistake, it's her family. She's connected to them by blood, and she has to turn against what she knows. Family members, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, speaking under correction, but it's just like the same way God is reflecting, mirroring that, and like, oh Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets, how I long to gather you together as children. God's crying out for people that are going to be lost by what I believe is coming, and I'm doing my best. Okay, let's go here. What am I saying? So this is a video that I cannot click on. Maybe you can see the whole URL there to see what I'm talking about. It's a vision I saw, also referencing that the time is close and the rapture is very close. Something is close, and that the wise virgins and the wise and foolish virgins will be separated, and the doors to the marriage feast of the Lamb will be closed. And we are approaching that point. Here I'm just sharing my thoughts on what the gargoyles in that visions could symbolize and entail, and who is the restrainer: church, Michael, the archangel, the Holy Spirit, God's influence himself. One day the restrainer will be removed and Satan will have free reign on this planet, and then everybody who's been longing for that will have second thoughts. That's a very interesting tweet or quote that I seem to connect my video to. That's true. I'm not good at math. I'm not a businessy person. I'm not good with my hands and building stuff. I'm not mechanical. I'm a little bit technological, but I cannot really take a computer apart and put it back together. I'm not a programmer. I'm just very good with theology. If I were to toot my own horn, and I'm a little bit artistic and a little bit funny, crazy, and I love games, gaming, anime culture, gaming culture, just otaku stuff in general. And that's what I know. Anybody, and if anybody connected to Jesse thinks that I'm orchestrating something, I'm not. What happens, happens in real time, and I share it in real time. I don't have time to plan it. I just try to put it on my X as soon as possible, because sometimes I get overloaded with too many communications from God, too many dreams, too many visions at the same time. So whenever I get something, whenever something happens, whenever I'm visited by something, or attacked or hurt by something, or get sick or get injured in some weird way, I immediately put it on X to make sure it's time-stamped, and to kind of help people see that I think something supernatural is guiding me. Some people say it's not God. I think it is God. But hey, at the end of the day, we'll know for sure. I don't want to click on your stuff, Elizabeth Compton, because you like to do potty mouth. YOLO. Interesting that Elon says there's no such thing as aliens, and he says, believe me, I've seen all of it. That's something that's trending now, thanks to this guy's little podcast. It's grown fast. He's talking to big names now, and everybody knows what the Nephilim is. Kind of thanks to him and his mates and other people as well, of course. Here I'm telling David Lee Corbo, just don't troll, insult Satan directly. You can troll him indirectly, but don't bring slander against higher beings. Just talking about Bitcoin here. Some talking about stuff happening. This cat just shaking his belly. Pretty sad. Not. It's gonna get worse. Stuff's gonna get worse. You thought human beings, those who think human beings are by nature good, and usually this people group, that person, that age is innocence. You're innocent. You're gonna see innocence disappear fast, and things are gonna scare you. Elon just chat posting every day. He has all the money and power in the world, but he sits on his butt and he just helps me stay alive, actually. Sometimes I just come online. I feel like dying, but Elon tweeted something, so I have to see what it is. Yeah, so God has, I believe, tried to symbolize the coming alien threat in many different ways. I don't know if many dimensions are going to merge, if many timelines are going to merge, but all of these together, if you merge all of them into one symbol, a hybridization of everything including technology, that's the hybrid that they made. That's the clay golem. The highest form of hybrid that they were able to make, and God says it's still not enough to go against me. Okay, so clay golems, aliens, Anubis golems, and these things I've seen in dreams and visions. The perfect combo. What is this? Okay, and many of these things I see them coming out of the sea. And if you read Derek Gilbert's work, he clearly helps me understand the symbol of the sea as chaos, the opposing force against God. These monsters come out of the sea, they come out of chaos. They don't come from a different galaxy. They might, I don't know how big it is out there. I've never been out there. There might be galaxies and stuff out there, but God is telling us that it's only Him and those who trust in Him. Everything else, except His holy angels that didn't rebel, everything else is fallen and controlled by Lucifer. Flat Earth, donut Earth, cube Earth, I don't know, I don't care. I don't have a camera. I can't fly up there and see. I'm just telling you, this is what I saw, and this is how God is like illustrating this coming hybrid threat that has already been created. strengthened, perfected according to the enemy. I'm just joking here, trolling. Many dark Zionists abound, but God chokes up when innocent blood Israelites. Oh, so here many people are attacking Jews, believing Jews are the Illuminati, Jews are the globalists, Jews are evil, Jews, because there's so many ancestral blood things tying into Jewish royalty, blah, 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 blah. Yes, there are very old bloodlines connected to the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? But just because in a family one brother is good, one is evil, doesn't mean the whole family is evil. Okay? God is going to separate the wheat from the chaff. There are innocent Israelites, innocent blood descendants of Israel and those tribes that God still has a covenant with. They are our older brothers. God tells people in the Bible to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. If you bless Jerusalem, you will be blessed. If you curse Jerusalem, you will be cursed. That's plain and simple. Don't pour all your hatred into one people group, one name, one thing, one person, one race. It's not going to work. You're I almost said a Melanie Mac signature word. You're stupid. Okay? God's going to come. He's going to gather his chicks. He's going to separate the wheat from the chaff. And the only way is you're in him or not. And one thing that really makes him very angry is to trample Jerusalem. There's a lot of covenants with regards to that holy place. And the people there that are blood descendants of that territory. Doesn't matter if they were scattered to Russia and came back. They're blood descendants of that territory that David bought legally. Now you can struggle and fight and argue all you want about historical. I don't care. God chokes up and he's serious and he gets focused when you bring up the people he chose for his first covenant. Okay. Close to this. I'm going to record some more tomorrow. That's it for now. That's an hour video. See you guys later at this point. Ciao.